Well, good afternoon, everyone. We are about to do our most ambitious, uh, hopefully not out of control meal yet, and that is our beef enchiladas. But along with beef enchiladas, we've got a couple surprises because I looked and there are some gaps where normally, if we had a group of people on, we would just talk and, we just enjoy the frivolity. But today it appears I'm going to be by myself, which makes me nervous because this is a bigger undertaking. And I'm going to use those two gaps, one while the beef is cooking, and two while the enchiladas are cooking, to make Mexican rice and then to make some um, salsa. So it's an experiment. Oftentimes, one meal prep item is enough to keep me on my toes. We're going to try three at once. So, with no further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I just want to check one thing in the instructions. Yes, okay, I'm correct in that. All right. Want to make sure I don't forget to preheat the oven because, um, yeah, that's something I do all the time. So, we're starting off with it says 2.5 to 3 pounds of beef chuck roast cut into 3-inch chunks. So I don't like to cut meat, and so I don't have the best knives in the world. So that's really a lot easier to go to the butcher and say, "Here's the meat we want, do it." And so he has. And so these are already cut into the chunks that we need. Yeah, we'll just throw that in there. Get rid of this ick. Something a little bit, and let's move on to the next thing. So we take 2 tablespoons of oil. This is going to be rough because when I was going to do this on the road in Wisconsin last week, I had the oil. It calls for 4 tablespoons, 2 tablespoons now and two later. And we'll just do that. I can already tell that this is going to be one where I need a towel. Ah, there we go. All right. So we put that in, and then we season all over with salt. And she said she used about 2 to 3 tablespoons or 2 to 3 teaspoons, I believe is what she advocated. It's to taste, and that means, I have no idea. So someday, I'm sure, like a lot of you, I'll just be able to know exactly how much to put in, but at this point, I don't. So I'm just gonna put in two on top. Hell with it. We'll just put it all in. We'll put 3 tablespoons or teaspoons and see what happens. All right, and then stir together with the cumin, chili powder, garlic powder, and onion powder. That also gets put in, but this is supposed to get all stirred together. I wonder, I didn't think about this, I should have. I'm going to try a metal spoon, which should be good enough to toss it around. I know I could use my hands. I'm not a wuss, but geez, it just isn't much fun to me. All right, so let's get this stirred around here. All right, now I've got the oil seemingly coating all of it. Let us entertain you. No, let's take my spices here and drizzle them over the top of this one. And I'm telling you, these smell delicious. So we're just going to do about half of it, stir it around, and then we'll do the other half and stir it around. And we'll just keep going until I think we've got everything pretty well coated with both the oil and the spices. These are like they're not like Legos, they're more like Duplos. All right, now that's a big old hunk of fat right there that I don't think I need. So we're gonna just cut that bad boy off. See what we got here. Screw it. Sometimes you just got to get in there, right? Now there's some beef in there. Let's see if I can get it separated from this big old wad of fat. Waste not, want not when it comes to beef, right? Beef. It's what's for dinner. All right, now, yeah, I'm going to set this aside and see if she'll allow me to feed this to the dogs. They don't get table food, but that just looks too good to, if I were a dog, I would be very disappointed to see that thrown in the trash, or even the composting pile for that matter. Got a couple other big hunks of fat. This one actually is running all the way through here, but it's separating out pretty good. So let's do that. I guess I'm going to have to invest in one of those tools that I see a lot of meal preppers use, the big black gloves. That actually would keep a lot of the mess off, wouldn't it? All right, well, didn't think about opening up the package to check this out. I did do a few things to make this a little faster for you guys that are watching it on replay. Of course, I'll remind those of you who are newer to YouTube that you can play this back at 1.2, 1.5, 2 times normal speed, especially when it's into sections that are less instruction intense. You might not want to do that. We have people here because the people that we tend to attract here are kind of entertaining. But when it's me by myself, it may not be quite as entertaining for you. So use a faster playback speed. You'll get through it a little faster. All right, let's see what we got here. Well, it's a bunch. Yeah, yeah. I guess that's what happens, right? Now, some of this, I'm not going to worry about the smaller stuff because after it cooks, it'll be real easy to separate. But some of these are just so big that it's probably easier to do it right now and have it taken care of. All right. That looks all right. I got one more here because it's coming apart. We'll do it. Get this out of here. It's like sedentary rocks. It's all in layers here. All right, we'll get that one later. I think. Hold on. Yeah, we'll have to get him later. All right. That's what's up. I'm sure all of you know that chicken or beef, any of that kind of stuff, you don't want to have it on your hands and then start touching other stuff. It can cause issues in your kitchen getting closed down. All right, for those of you at home, you're at home. Your kitchen never gets closed down, right? No matter what happens. Because everybody in it still wants to eat. All right, let's get rid of that bad boy. We'll wash those up later. All right, let's add some more seasoning here. There's a good deal of seasoning in this. There's aside from the salt, there's 2 teaspoons of cumin, 2 teaspoons of chili powder, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, and a teaspoon of onion powder. So it does not lack the really good smelling seasonings. I'm not going to lie, it smells almost good enough to eat right now. But no, not a raw beef guy. All right. What's the hamburger dish that people do that? They eat raw hamburger with onion and whatever. And I'm just like, yeah, I prefer my my meat of all kinds, including fish. No, no sushi for this guy. We must cook or have it cooked. All right, so this is very well. I don't know that you can see it all that well. I'll try and get close. It is coated in seasonings, right? So that's ready to go. So we put this bad boy on saute, I'm guessing. Yep. Saute, put in the 2 tablespoons of oil. We'll put the rest of that in there. We'll get these out of the way. A cleaned off cooking surface is always safer for me. All right, what do we got? Next up, use the tongs to sear the beef in the pot for 2 to 3 minutes on each side. So had a little bit of a scare because I couldn't find my tongs, but at the last minute they appeared. So I'm gonna put these bad boys in here. I'm gonna try to do this. See if I can fit them all in. I don't know. It may take a couple times around the bottom of this pan to get them all in, but we'll see. Trying to get it all at once to be a little faster. Now, at the Instapot, this will take a bit to come up to heat, but it will get there. That might fit them in. Let's see. I got a couple of corners in here. There we go. All right. That's all in. So with a lot of the beef dishes, when you're using the Instapot, you sear it on all sides first and then you cook it. But what you find with the Instapot is that it is the most tender meat, beef, chicken, turkey. I do the turkey breast, the whole turkey breast. You know, you can get them frozen and put them in frozen, and because of the pressure, it like I don't know, it pushes the liquid into the meat. I don't know what it does, but it is the moistest turkey breast that you've ever had. It's the best white meat ever. And the same thing with chicken, whether it's frozen or fresh. And the beef, when we do our roasts, every once in a while we'll do a roast in there, and it's just it just falls apart with the fork. So it's really a great way to cook this. Takes a little bit of time, but that's what's going to allow us to cook some Mexican rice, which I love, and then the salsa. Now, the one thing I wish I had a recipe for that I don't is for the cheese sauce, the queso sauce that you get in Mexican restaurants, specifically the white. Somebody's got that recipe. I would really love to have that because we love that, but I mean, it's getting super expensive when you buy, you know, like 16 ounces of it pre-made from the thing. It's more than a margarita, and I'm sorry, the margarita budget cannot be touched. So, you know, I don't get to get it very often. So while that's coming up to heat and starting to get bubblicious in there right now, I'm going to go ahead and get my bowls rinsed out and put it in the dishwasher. And it's another thing I like about meal prep is that you can stay on top of the dishes so that at the end you're not stuck with a lot of cleanup work that needs to be done. And I despise cleanup, so that makes it much easier for me. You know, the beef resident here. Now you'll see back over here, I've got the stuff that we're doing later. I've already cut up my onions and my carrot and got all the ingredients out. So we won't spend a lot of time when we have our break, which is right after we sear these. Has that been 2 minutes? I guess somebody will be watching the clock. Where do I have some filter? Like that, right. I'm going to give these just a little bit more time and then we'll turn them over. I hope you can hear that. It's bubbling and stirring as we speak. Oh, yeah. Already well seared. So we're going to turn these bad boys. Start to see in here. We'll let that go down a little bit. All right. While I'm doing that, I'm going to take a look ahead to the rice. So with the rice, we're going to put the garlic and onions in, cook those. Then you stir the rice and toast it, something I've never done before. So this will be a new learning experience for me. But I suppose I can start getting the pot ready, right? Calls for a tablespoon. I think we can guess on that. That looks about right. And then we add our onions. Now, I don't normally dice onions really fine, but that's what they're called for. So I did that. And I must say, I am extremely grateful for my little onion slicer tool thingy. I'll show you here if you haven't seen it. But the beef smells good. Not quite like being on the grill, but it's pretty close. All right. We're getting really low on our garlic, our lazy garlic. Matter of fact, I think this is going to be about all we get out of it. Add a little extra because there's some in there and I don't want to throw to waste. But that's pretty much a well-used container. All right, time to turn those bad boys over. So as it's searing on one side, it's kind of also cooking a little bit on the others. It's not always easy to see where the searing has been done and where it hasn't. Well, that looks about right. There it is. All right, so this is going to be ready. I'll get to start it right now because I want to make sure this is going so I can pay attention to it. And I do have I have the phone camera ready so we can go over there because I'll be doing most of that work over there. All right, so let's see. Okay, so it's gonna take a cup of beef broth. So I can go ahead and get that already. One of the things I'm going to start doing, though, is making my own beef and chicken broth. I want to figure that process out. Even though broth isn't all that expensive, I figure if I'm making it at home with ingredients that I know, I can cut down on some of the stuff. Because this, let's see, what do we all got in here? Oh, wrong ingredient list. Sorry, I was looking at what they're doing. All right, so beef stock, salt. Salt's the number 2 ingredient. And while I'm not overly concerned about salt content because I think a lot of the salt guidelines that we have are, I follow. I'm more of a proponent of those that say that the DASH diet that gave us 2,500 milligrams or some of those things are crap. But um, I'm not overly concerned, but it doesn't need to be necessarily the second ingredient. Natural flavors, that means more gunk. Let's see, onion powder. It's hard to see without my glasses. I should have brought those over. Um, Not a lot of crap in this. I'm pleased that there's not a lot. This is the Meyer brand. There's not a lot of chemical stuff in there. A couple of things that I'd rather do without, but not only is it cheaper, if you get your beef broth going, and then I've watched one where they really cook it down and then they freeze it into ice cube. That ice cube is the same as using a cup. And I'm like, that's really easy to store and have available at all times. So I'm really interested in taking a look at that. All right. I'm going to flip these guys one more time. If I can find a side that needs it. A little red on top here. Let's get that down there. Yeah, it's really hard to tell what side's been done and what side hasn't. I'm just looking for some areas where there's a little more red. And there's not a lot of red. So I guess that means I'm doing okay. Somebody give me a gold star in the comments. All right. We're gonna throw that back in the bowl. Doesn't really matter that there was raw beef in there. There's some seasoning still on there, and we're gonna be throwing it in to cook. But first, we make sure there's nothing stuck to the bottom because you don't want the dreaded burn notice. That's the thing we never want to see. All right. Make sure I'm not missing anything else. Yeah, pretty simple because all I'm going to do is take it out, make sure there's nothing that I have to scrape off the bottom. Put the broth back in, return the meat to it, and put it on for 40 minutes. It says 35 to 45 minutes. And actually, I'll read the end here. Since it's just me, I guess I can take as long as I want, can't I? And you guys can fast forward, so it's all good. But she had some comments on this. The roast can be thoroughly cooked and ready in 35 minutes in the pressure cooker if you're tight on time. If you have more time, it will be juicier and more tender if you can cook for up to 45 minutes and add a half a cup of broth to the pot. So there we go. We're going to do that because that's going to give me a little extra time to make sure I don't mess up the rice. And make sure we have really good, tender, juicy beef. All right, we'll throw these in here. I'll come show it to you here in a second. Let me turn this off though. Yeah, because there's definitely some gunk, some searings down on the bottom of that pot. Matter of fact, we're going to oh, there they are. I'm like, where did my thing go? We're going to pull this out so it stops cooking. And I'll show you the beef up close and personal. There you go. Some of them have a little bit of sear, some of them not as much, but that's what we're going to do. All right. So now I'm going to scrape that. We're not getting rid of any of that good drippings, but we are going to scrape it down to make sure that we don't get the burn notice. And let's use a protection first. All right. Really kind of thick down there. And of course, I used avocado oil here, so there's some oil. We're just going to make sure that we've got this nice and scraped off. And we'll do it a little more once I get the broth in there. So we'll pour some broth in. We're going to hear some dogs barking in a minute because their owner just got home. So they'll probably, one of them, the spastic one, will do his job and go spastic. Well, look at that. He didn't go spastic. All right. Well, sorry, you didn't get to hear dogs barking on the show. But you may get a glimpse of the rarely seen Hannah as she walks by. If I'm sneaky with the camera, but right now I'm cooking, so I probably won't be able to get her. All right, so I've got a bit of brown that's being a little reticent about coming out. So wooden spoon that usually works wonders on that is not getting it done. Teddy. So I'm going to use a little butter knife. Teddy, relax for God's sakes. She'll be right back. He has separation anxiety. Yeah, this is a burn notice wanting to happen right here. I'm sorry I don't have a cameraman. That would make this so much better. Because then you could see what I'm messing around with. But all right, that has that really clean. We put in the extra half cup, I think. Well, I hope so. I meant to. And now we put the meat back in. And we are ready to go. All right, so we're going to put that on for 45 minutes. She's sneaking around. Yeah, she's not going to you're not going to get caught on camera. All right. That's Kathy's daughter. Maybe she'll come out and introduce herself later so that we have something besides my ugly face to look at some point. All right. 45 minutes. So that means we're on to the next adventure, the Mexican rice. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm a little bit nervous about trying to take on three things at once, especially without anybody to yell at me, guide me, tell me when I'm doing things wrong. But we'll see what happens. All right. For right now, I'm just gonna rinse this off. It's a little wet from that, so I got to really clean. Kathy will tell you I'm the firm believer in pre filling pots and stuff with water, rinsing them off really well. I don't like baked down messes. All right, so speaking of messes, I don't know what that is, but we'll get rid of it. All right, we good? We're good. We'll rinse this off. I think I may need it later. I'm going to set it aside for now. All right. It's time for rice. That means I need to turn on the other camera, have it join the Zoom room, and let's get it started. So let's do that real quick. For those of you who this is your first time joining us, welcome. If you'd like to be part of our studio, not our studio audience, if you're watching this, you're part of the studio audience. If you'd like to be part of the studio and actually cook along with us, I'm going to give you a URL in a minute. I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to find a pen and paper. And then you can go to that URL. You can be part of the community, and you get to be on the screen with us, cooking right along with us and having some fun, adding your input, laughing at the guy leading it, whatever it is that you like to do. All right, what was it? I'm going to zoom. You got about 20 seconds for that pen and paper. Join super secret cooking room. All right, got it. Now we're going to have some noise here, but just bear with me. I have to change the audio settings. All right, how's that? I'm hoping you hear me. If you can't, it's going to be a worthless recording. Yeah, I don't know how to tell if you can hear it now. That's going to be a problem. This is part of not having a professional audio video team. Well, one way you can make sure. Hang on, change to mic. All right. You definitely should be able to hear me now, and I can check in the settings here. Or can I? Well, we'll take a chance. If it doesn't work, then this will be the lost episode. All right, we're going to move the camera, this one, over here, out of the way, but so that you can see. Make it the bigger one here. What we've got going on. All right, so we're on to this recipe. Let's grab it. Hi. Okay. Nope, that's the wrong one. This is the one. All right. One mistake I made was in making my recipe sheets. I didn't put the title of it up top. That's not a good. That's not a good thing to do. All right. So we are going to heat the olive oil over medium heat with the garlic and the onion. It said to do the olive oil and then do it, but whatever. I put it all together as you already saw. We'll just stir it around and make sure the garlic's all mixed in and the oil is over the entire pan. Well, I got a couple hunks in there that are bigger than they're supposed to be, but I'm guessing we'll live. Kathy and I both love onions, so this actually was supposed to be one regular sized onion. It was a monster. There's a lot of onions in there. All right, so let's get started. The rice is going to be 1.5 cups of said basmati rice. What I have here is just rice. I have just rice. We don't run it down below, so we'll go ahead and use that. This. All right, so the pressure cooker, the pressure cooker. Just how did you get in here, dog? I swear, they're like Houdini dogs. That dog doesn't move faster than a snail. She's 16 years old. She's a husky. She's 16 years old. She's 95 or something, people age. So she's just ancient. And I don't know how the hell she snuck through the barrier. Huh. that sneaky dog. All right, they block off our secret entrance to the clubhouse. And I need, of course, just a little bit more light, so I got the roper in this one. We're putting it in the container now, not waiting until later. And that's one thing you can do in your meal prepping. You have time to do things right. This is definitely one of the staples in our household. We do a lot of stuff with rice, so keep it in a airtight. Keep it in a container that can hold a bunch first of all, and that you can seal. You need just a little bit more. Get to the cup and a half status. And that should be all right. This way. Heat's coming up. I can hear it starting to get sizzly. There we go. Now, if this says over medium heat, I guess I figure medium is 5 to 6, maybe 7. We're going to put the 7 because I don't like taking too long. Especially when I have more stuff coming. Eddie. Your daughter's on the door. All right. Sorry about that, but the door got locked, so Kathy couldn't get in and the dog would go. All right. So this is meal prep in a regular house, not a studio in Burbank, California. So you get that stuff. So I've never toasted rice. It says when we're doing this, it's going to be about 2 minutes after we get the onions done. So this is going to be a new experience for me. Let's see. After that, we stir in the tomato sauce. So where's my can opener? It's over here. I again. All right. One of this can opener is my favorite can opener in the world ever. Yeah. Oh, that's sorry, the wrong tomato stuff. That's for the. Let's see. That's the tomatoes. That's the whole tomatoes. We need the tomato sauce. Sorry. This is why you got to look at labels. I was like looking at it, going, "Wait a minute, that's not tomato sauce." All right. Still my favorite can opener. It is a Pampered Chef. If you have a Pampered Chef friend, they can show you that one. I don't sell them or hawk for them, except for that. So much better than the old ones that you crank around the edge. All right. The other thing I need is a broth, and that's going to call for 1.5 cups. So I need a 1 cup container for that, or a half cup rather. If you're doing a lot of meal prep, you cannot have enough measuring cups, measuring spoons. I don't think it's possible to have enough. All right, they're starting to get there. Not quite. Smell amazing though. Oh, never smelled anything so actually on top of it here. We'll see. Since we're done, we put in the rice. We toast that for 2 minutes. All right, I think our onions are about right there. So here we go. Our first attempt ever. I was 64 years old when I learned you could toast rice. Here we go. Like layering it on pizza. I guess I could try to. I don't want it on the stove though, so I'll move things around. Hold on. If anybody is local and wants to be a camera slash audio visual person, I'd be more than happy to give you an opportunity to grow your skills into a valuable career. Give you the experience. I won't even charge you for doing it. You'll make as much as I do, which is experience. You could have some good food. That you will get. I'm gonna turn it up just a little bit. Well, okay. So I can see right now. One of the things I got to make sure I do is stir these bad boys pretty good. Okay. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna add a drizzle more of olive oil. Because I do not. Yeah, I do not want to burn this stuff. Right in the middle of the pan. All right, let's turn it down. I guess when they say medium heat, they mean medium heat. Okay, I'm only sort of watching the clock. I probably should have watched a little bit better, but I'm watching it. Yeah, the middle of the pan is really hitting the heat the most, and that's where it's trying to stick. So watching that, I'm going to pour my broth into this so I can immediately throw it in, not have to. So I don't know what toasted rice is supposed to look like. Definitely toasty warm, I can tell you that. And I guess some of it does look a little brownish on the edges, but here we are. We're definitely past the 2 minute mark. Did it say 2 to 3 minutes or say two? It said about 2 minutes. So we are going to just go ahead and dump in this broth. There we go. Keep from a disaster. What else are we supposed to add here? Let's see. So we added that, the tomato sauce, vegetable broth. We're actually using chicken broth. Oh well. I'm supposed to bring it to a simmer. about 2 minutes. And then we stir in the other stuff. Frozen stuff, unfrozen stuff, there's all kinds of stuff. Stir this tomato paste in because it starts simmering and pops red all over everything. It would not be a good idea for me. I apologize. I just realized that camera behind me is giving you all a not so desirable view of the backside of me, but we're going to have to live with it. All right. Let's see. Stir in corn, carrots, peas, chili powder, and cumin. Well, I'm going to do the chili powder and cumin right now because I can't see any good reason not to. And it's one more thing out of the way. So, quarter teaspoon of cumin, and it's hardly worth putting anything in. We use a lot of cumin. That's one of my favorite spices. I do it. I use it in all my eggs in the morning. There you go. There's cumin. Quarter teaspoon of chili powder. Yeah. Okay. Again, kind of sissies do they think we are? All right. They're heaping. That at least make me feel a little better. All right. Put them right back in the drawer where they go. Yeah, I got enough time. I think I can show you my spice drawer. Ooh, all labeled, usually in alphabetical order. Can't vouch for it right now, but it's at least close. All right, so let's stir these in. All right, we are simmering. Yes, we are. I turned down just a little bit. And now we put in the corn, the carrots. Carrots are already made. I'm supposed to put in a half cup of frozen peas. All right, maybe got a couple extras. That's right, peas are good for you. Supposed to put in 1 cup of corn. Why does corn always get the top billing? I've always wondered. I don't know. But we'll do what the recipe says this time, and then we'll figure it out afterwards. We'd like something different. There's okay. Couple, little more. Sorry, not being very precise here. All right, stick it on the bottom. Let's not do that. Stir this stuff in. I don't know. It does not feel to me like there's enough liquid in this. See what else it says. All right. Stir in corn, carrots, peas, chili, corn. Season with salt and pepper to taste. Bring to a boil. Cover, reduce heat, simmer till rice is cooked about 13 to 16 minutes. All right. Well, we're gonna not quite trust them. I'm gonna put a little more liquid in. Call me conspiracy theorist when it comes to recipes, whatever. I'm gonna put that in there because that looked a little too much, too thick. All right. Now salt and pepper. It's another one of those mysterious to taste things. So I guess that just means we throw some on. Da-da-da. And where'd the salt go? Still over here. There you go. There's salt and pepper. All right, we're gonna stir this. Bring it to a boil. Let the rice cook 13 to 16 minutes. That means I got to put myself a little timer thingamajigger on. I can do that. But that looks pretty good, doesn't it? All right. Gonna clean up the edges here. All right. Take it up heat just a little bit. Get it boiling. And then set it for 13 minutes. Timer 1300. We'll bring it to a boil and stir it one more time and then reduce heat and simmer. I have a feeling we're going to have some stuck to the bottom when this is all over, but it's pretty if nothing else. And it's our first attempt, and sometimes the first attempt doesn't go the way you want it, right? All right. That's enough of a boil for me. I'm going to reduce that. We'll put it on a 4. I'll come back and check it out. Let's start our timer. All right. Now let's go back over and see where we're at with the. We still have a long ways to go. That thing has 28 minutes to go. So what we're going to do is take a look at this stuff. The only thing I have left over here with the rice is to add the tomatoes, and they go in at the end. 2 tomatoes diced. They go through after it's done simmering, and then we cook it for about 2 minutes. And then if you want soap, you can put cilantro in it. So I don't think you want to sit and listen to me entertain you for 28 minutes with my lack of a prepared set for the comedy hour. So we're going to put everything on pause, and then we'll come back, and that'll save you having to jump through me figuring out what the hell I'm going to say. All right. So we will pause this. We'll get right back to you. It'll seem like it's no time at all for you. All right. So our timer just went off, and as feared, the some of the rice is rather stuck on. Trying to get this so you guys can see. Well, there we go. Trying to get this so you guys can see the pot. So I've taken it off the heat for right now. And I'm going to try and scrape it off the bottom, and then we're going to add those tomatoes in. Some of the rice around the edge does not seem to have as much color to it. So yeah, see a little burnage, not real bad, just a little char down there on the bottom. So let's see if we can scrape the rice off of there. Yeah, so it didn't get to the point where it's well, it's a little dark there, but all right, we'll live. So next time, I'm thinking that what Rick has to do is be a little more patient with the low heat stuff, because maybe it's because I had it a little higher heat. Maybe that's why it burned through some of the juice or something. So we're going to just whip around here real quick, chop up tomatoes, put it in there, let it heat up, and then we'll try some. We still have 12 minutes to go on the Instant Pot, and it has to do a natural release. So we've got at least 22 more minutes over there. So we will do another pause out of courtesy to you guys watching it later. These are not Roma tomatoes. The Roma tomatoes that they had at the store, Kathy said they do not look good. So I don't think that anybody's going to die because we use a different kind of tomato, especially if these are better. Let's trim off. I got a little bad spot here. And it just says to dice these, so I'm going to do a fairly thin dice if I can. We'll see. Again, not the sharpest knives in the drawer that I'm using right now, but oh, they're cutting pretty good. As you see, I've got the onion ready for the next one as well. One of these days, I want to go busting into Costco, get myself a nice set of Cutco knives. I actually sold those for a while when I was a youngster, and they are just amazing knives. And you can get them sharpened for free for the lifetime of the product. So when I was selling them, I did not have the money to buy them either. So they remain on the bucket list. But if a man's going to do a meal prep show, he needs a good set of knives, doesn't he? Well, not to start off, but eventually it'd be a good thing. So it's on my list because I remember when we were demonstrating, you could cut through tomato skin like it was nothing. And tomatoes are really one of the harder things to cut if you don't have a sharp knife. So you end up just smashing them. Which so far we're not doing too bad here, but one more batch. Sorry, you aren't going to get to follow along, but I think you've seen tomatoes being thrown into a pan before, so you're probably not going to be too upset that we're missing that. Let's bring this bad boy back around. All we're going to do is stir this in here, and I'm not going to actually put it back on the heat. I'm just going to cover it because I don't want to burn it anymore. The burn isn't all that. It's not. There's not that much. You're gonna you're gonna taste that little bit of char, but we'll just pretend that you're eating a marshmallow or a hot dog off the grill, and we'll probably all live. All right. So we'll set that aside. We're just gonna let that heat up. So the tomatoes heat up. And what do we got left? Yeah, we got another 18 minutes. Um, I am going to start putting together some of the, well, I guess I can do it right now, right? There's some of the ingredients that we have to do for the, this camera thing's a mess. And plugs I have in the frying pan. Oh, hey there. How are you guys today? And I do. All right. So where's my recipe? Uh, this one's medium high heat. We're going to add tomatoes, onions, and jalapeno. I don't know if she bought jalapeno. Guess we'll find out here in a second. Oh, she did. She is really going to be pushing it here, isn't she? All right, we're going to do it. I don't usually do jalapenos very much, but we'll do it. We're going to need some oil. Ah, well, actually, you know what? It's a medium high heat, so I'll go ahead and use olive oil. As I say often, you can't use olive oil on a high heat because it has a low smoke point and will turn toxic. But we're not doing it on a high heat, so it shouldn't be an issue, right? So let's rinse this off because I want to use it for this. And we don't necessarily need rice in our salt. Yeah, you can probably put anything, but let's just wipe this bad boy down a little bit. All right. So that means I got to cut some more tomatoes. And on this one, actually calling for some char. And then the other thing it's calling for is the use of a food processor, and I don't even know where mine is. So that's going to be an issue. But I suppose I could use Blender and try that if I have to. But see, I've got a few minutes when I turn this off to try and find it again. Two more of these here tomatoes, and they're just halved and thrown in there. So this is a fast process to prepare. I hear movement in the house, but I don't know what's going. Could be my shopping assistant. He's bringing me a stack and press food processor that I've never used before. This could be fun. We're getting outside the comfort zone like crazy on this show, aren't we? But so far, no kitchen fires, so we got that going for us. All right, I have never chopped up a jalapeno. We're going to cut these tomatoes in half. That just seemed weird, but I'm following the directions. And the onions were supposed to be just done in wedges, but I didn't read far enough ahead. That seemed really weird. I'm like, I don't want big old hunks of onion in my salsa. And yeah, I didn't realize it was going through the food processor. So I spent a little more time cutting up those onions than I needed to. But that's okay. They're more like the size that we would want. All right, now we're going to be very cautious now to not touch our eyes for a little bit here. All right, so I believe you slice these and then you get rid of everything in the middle if you don't want it super hot, and I do not. So we're going to take out the seeds and the pith. I like that word. And if you wonder what I'm doing, I'm down at the garbage container scraping out the seeds. Don't worry, I won't stay in this position for long because my legs and back don't allow it, but long enough to get rid of the stuff that we don't want in the jalapenos. Hey, Kat.
Yeah.
Do you want to come be the guinea pig and try the Mexican rice?
I do. I'll be right there.
I will warn you. I did get a little bit of burn on the bottom of the pan. Yeah. I don't think we're going to die, but.
Well, yeah, I do. I'm working out.
Okay, you heard that here first, guys, at the Simple Meal Prep Show, that if Kathy dies, I'm responsible, according to her. I'm not admitting guilt, of course. Just reporting on what she said. Okay, so what do we do with this hot? Halved and seeded, so we just have that bad boy. Throw it in the pan. Going to grab a spoon and she's going to fry it. We'll put the camera on her and to see what the response is like. Step away, step away. There you go.
Very colorful.
Yeah, it is very colorful.
Actually, it's very good.
Okay, then I'll try it. Really? That's how you're gonna be?
That's how I'm going to be.
All right, we're trying to get a little bit of everything. Corn, tomato,
I like it.
carrot, onion. Yep. Mm. Yeah, that is good. It's rice is how you would say not cooked to softness. So I might um, I might cook that rice just a little bit longer next time, but I'm probably going to add a little more broth to it next time as well. All right. So as we can see, I've got my stuff in there ready to go. I'm not going to go much past that right now. Although I guess I could because you're going to serve this cold, right? So it doesn't matter if I do it now while I have a little extra time. Well, I've got 1 minute left on the cooker over here, but then it's got to naturally release. So yes, I'm going to char these up while we're at it. Get them all ready to go into the food processor. All right, so medium-high heat. So that would be probably there. 7 or 8, right? And what we're trying to do here is char them on all sides. So about 5 minutes. And then we're going to add the tomatoes, the garlic, cilantro, lime juice, cumin, and if we're using sugar in the bowl of a food processor until we get it where we want, season with salt and pepper. So pretty simple stuff. All right. The Instapot is done. Now, let me just verify that I'm correct in remembering the natural. Naturally for 15 minutes. So yeah, I got plenty of time to make this here salsa. Maybe even figure out this mystery thing. Have you ever used this stuff?
Yes.
Hey. It's been using some stuff on it. We'll get to that.
Very comfortable. Here it comes. Let me list it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now that she's got us figuring out how to do that, or has shown us how to do that, let's these are starting to come up to heat. You know, it didn't call for oil. I wonder if you weren't supposed to put oil on and you were just supposed to char it. Well, that's over a large cast iron skillet, which I don't have. So we're just gonna do them this way and see what happens. We'll cook them some. How's that? For 5 minutes. All right, it's 7:30. Oh, so I'll tell you all the story about what happens with meal prep while we're doing this, because you've seen onions before. I'll give myself a chance to be on camera. Yeah, I just turn the mic back on. Good. All right, so when you start meal prepping for yourself, that's what it'll be. You'll start meal prepping for yourself. But what might happen to you is that suddenly, yeah, I like that Mexican rice. Suddenly, you may find that other, we'll call them opportunities for service, start popping up. So, for example, we are now providing some meals for Kathy's mom. And Kathy's sister's been coming over a good deal, so we have that happening. Sometimes we're sending things with Kathy's daughter. Her son lives in Battle Creek, so we haven't gotten to that point yet. And then today, I spent 7 hours between picking her up and taking my daughter to the emergency room, waiting in the emergency room, and then running and getting, prescriptions and stuff. spent 7 hours there, and then it's like her energy level is such that, cooking, not really high on the list of things to expend your energy on, right? So, uh, hey, Kathy, what were these whole tomatoes for in the can? Oh, it's in there. I see it now. Okay. We added the whole tomatoes and then or the supposedly Roma tomatoes, and then I didn't see that. Okay, my bad. All right. So we were able to send over a stack of pre-made things that you can throw in the refrigerator or on the counter to thaw, and then just have to heat them up and eat them, right? And then keep some in the freezer so that he doesn't have to, some of the same reason for us, right? We don't have to think about what it is we're going to eat if we don't want to. We don't have to cook it. We can just go and get it, make it. So this is, you may find this as well, that you start doing a little bit, more than just stocking your own freezer here. So awfully glad we got started when we did, because there are some people that need it. If my mom and dad were close, I'd probably do the same thing, but they're a good ways away, and they're still able to take care of their own needs for that right now. But if it changes, we can make up a bunch of stuff, throw it in the cooler, take it down there, throw it in their freezer and fridge, and they're good to go too. So there's just a lot of benefits that's beside having good, healthy food that you like because you're making it for yourself. That is fast, that is easy, right? We're going to get a lot of meals out of this today. I have a feeling we should have done a double mash stroke, because if the rice is any indication, these enchiladas are going to be freaking delicious. I mean, how do you go wrong with beef and cheese there? I mean, come on. All right, we're getting, I don't know if I quite call it char yet, but the onions are getting a little bit. I think I need to turn the heat up a little bit on this one. Yeah, I'm getting some char on the onions. Oh, a little bit on this tomato here. You can't see it, can you? I know you can filter it, but this tomato. Got a little bit of char on it. We're going to turn this heat up. Not quite the high. And we'll just be careful with stir it a lot. How's that? Not burn, right? So I see how it would have been easier too with the wedges of onions. Well, actually, they would have broken apart too, so it would have been just about the same. So I guess it's not really a big deal that I cut them up more than they called for. Okay, so you know what I noticed? What I'm noticing is that it's starting to smell like, uh, when they do sizzling fajitas in the restaurants, right? Um, it has that very distinct. I guess I never realized it was because they were charring things, but that's the smell that I'm starting to get from this. Now I'm starting to get those jalapenos. Keep those down in there a bit. Got to open it up and get it down there on that heat. But that's what it has, that smell. So I can see one thing we're going to need to add. Got to put on the lid, Miss Kathy. It's a cast iron frying pan if we're going to do more Mexican stuff. Plus, they're a lot better, obviously, than a lot of the um, Teflon and non-stick stuff. And from a long-term health thing, if you're using them right now and you can't afford to get something else, that's one thing. But as you can afford to start getting cast iron or ceramic
Um, Probably a much better thing to do. Now, if you think that all that's conspiracy theory, that's fine. We keep using that. But it does make sense that we're getting all these microplastics from things like this and all the other stuff going on. But when you're scraping a Teflon pan, which if you look at most Teflon pans have been around for a while, they've got divots and you can see they've been misused a bit. Then you can tell that that probably makes sense that some of that chemical stuff that they're using in there is seeping into food, and whether it actually causes the things that some people say, is it worth having? You know, now if you're 100 years old like me, maybe not as big of a deal. But if you're a youngster, um, I guess my advice would be start buying really good, high quality cookware. You know, get away from this stuff. Get away from the plastic containers. You're doing things using glass, ceramic, cast iron. You're going to get. It actually does make better. Does better for a lot of different things. Um, and for your long-term health, probably worth it. So there you go. My 2 cents on that. Now, that has been actually 8 minutes. They don't have much of a char, but they're definitely getting cooked a little bit. A little nervous to know when is when. Um, Now it's going to be fun to see. I don't think that's all going to fit in this thing. We're going to do it in 2 batches, I think. I have a bigger food processor, but again, I don't know where it's at. So I'm going to put 2 of these tomatoes. Get about half of these onions. I keep them filling them all on the ground here, or the counter. Okay, turn the heat off. I'll leave that jalapeno to put in last. Pick up a couple of these bad boys off the counter. Throw in about, you're showing you what I'm doing here, huh? Where'd they go? In the video bag, huh? All right. So here's our little food prep container. There's a little tiny bit of char on those jalapenos, but not much. All right, see if we can stir these tomatoes in without causing too big of a mess. Well, it's about half, maybe a little less. And what do I put in? I put in lime juice. Well, she's got me 1 lime, so we're gonna cut it in half and squeeze it in. Oh, remember to keep stirring this pepper. All right, to make sure it fits, we'll shove Mr. Jalapeno in. This is off the heat. All right, well, how much cumin do I need? I need. Well, I don't have garlic anymore. Oh, wait, do we have more minced garlic on? Did we get a new container? In the cupboard. And oh, it's a baby. It's a baby one. All right. Calls for 1 clove, so that's teaspoon. We'll just put that much in there and call it good. How's that? I like it. You like it? Perfect. All right. Now, where we got? We got no cilantro leaves. Yeah. 1/4 teaspoon of cumin. All right. Right there in alphabetical order in the spice drawer. You notice that? See how easy that makes it? And since we're going to use a food processor, I don't have to worry too much about stirring it in. Just throw it in there. Any other spice? All right, cumin. What do you think, honey? It calls for sugar. Yes or no? She's not answering. Yep. Sugar, yes or no?
Yes.
She says yes. All right. Can't have it for breakfast then. It won't be a. No, it's only a 1/4 teaspoon. And it really should be half of that, but. We'll go crazy with the sugar. All right, so make sure I got everything. Oh, it says salt and pepper. Jeez. I don't know if I can fit any more stuff in here. All right. Salt. No, little salty says he puts the pep in. All right, put the pep. Then the salt. All right, it's got some. Well, that's probably the good thing about doing 2 batches is if it sucks, we can make adjustments with the second batch. So I'm just gonna kind of throw the camera that way. Put this on. Yes, there is a secret way it goes in. There it goes. Then we put the lid on. Hold it tight. I need answer. I move some stuff because it's got the shortest cord I've ever seen in my life. Plug it in. And it comes on without you doing anything. Perfect. Yep, it's so full that it comes on without you having to turn it on. That's pretty funny. All right, let's see how our first try at salsa came out. She tried the first one. She was the guinea pig all this time. You want to try the salsa, hon? Or make the second half and see what we want to add? I have an idea of what she's going to say she wants to add, but very homemade tasty kind of stuff.
What does that mean?
It means it doesn't taste store bought. For some reason, it tastes homemade to me. I don't know.
Is this it?
Mhm. Here we go, boys and girls. The acid test.
Actually, that's very good. That's very good.
Nothing you want added? I was thinking some chili powder.
Oh, that's a good idea.
All right, we'll add some chili powder to the next batch. But right now, boys and girls, it's time to get to the main event here. Instapot thingy is done. It's time to shred some beef and start making some enchiladas. So let's get off the sideshow here. We'll come back to it. I don't know about you, but I kind of like the way that we wasted very little time with this episode, and we're getting more stuff out of it. So let's see. Preheat the oven to 375. Let's do that right now, because that's the step I always forget.
I'm the official taste tester.
Well, she also does the chopping and cleans up. Oh, I forgot the lime juice in it too. You want to squeeze half a lime juice in there and stir it back around? No. Yeah, we forget that sometimes. All right, what are we doing? All right, I'm bringing my pot over here and my container. Yeah, we forgot to put I forgot to put the lime juice in. And you notice I read it 3 or 4 times, right? And I still forgot. I'm looking for avocado oil spray. Okay. All right, we're gonna let this release. Yep. Hardly any steam coming out. That means we did a good job on letting it natural release. All right, we're gonna need some of these bad boys. Knew it had to make it so they would come out. I think I'm gonna make those on the. Well, it's gonna make it a little cutting board. I guess we're gonna do it right on the counter. We're gonna bake it. We shouldn't die. All right. And then I take how much? It's a lot of sauce. Where'd it go? Oh, it's over here. Spread 1 cup of enchilada sauce on the bottom of the pan. Can opener. There's my cup. But I'm just saving for that. If I haven't told you lately, I love this can opener. Oh, look, you're seeing 2 of the nearly identical angles. That's really bad, shoddy camera work. Like I said, if you're local and you want to learn how to do video and have a lucrative career in the exploding YouTube marketplace, then feel free to come here and I'll put you to work for free. You can learn how to do it and get yourself a good career. Put yourself through whatever you want to put yourself through. The rest of life, as it were. All right. Kind of see. Does that give us a, yeah. All right. So we're going to put a cup of this in. I'll do it over it so that if I spill it, it's not a biggie. A cup of that goes on the bottom. Make sure to get all the edges. Just a little bit more. Okay. This edge over here. It doesn't matter. We're doing it anyway. All right. That's done. Now, what am I doing? Oh, open the container. Shred the beef. All right. Oh, now there's some beautiful broth in there, boys and girls. That's some beef broth. I'm going to take this camera over and let you see this. This is pretty. Look at that. That's some well-cooked stuff. I'll see if, now the camera will have a tendency to fog up. And I really don't want to drop it in there. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a side angle, but I'll try and get you an angle to see how the shredding goes, so you know I'm not making it up when I say it shreds really well. Let's raise this bad boy up. There, yeah, there you go. You can see in there. Grab myself 2 forkers. And the hint that they said was to shred it in the Instapot because then it's picking up even more of those juices. Now, the issue that I'm having with that is that there's so much juice. You can see how tender this is. It just falls apart. The issue that I have with this, I'm going to start it this way, but then I'm going to put it in a bowl and do it because it's there's so much juice. You can't really tell when you've got it all shredded up. And I won't be able to pick out any of those big fat pockets. So we'll do this a little bit. Actually, some of it has already, it appears, shredded up some. Yeah, I don't want to really spill this on myself either because it's piping hot, as you can imagine. Oh, what I could do, I could just drain some of that. We'll do it there. Not have to not have to dirty another pan or 2 days. Bowl ought to be big enough for this. This. Drain some of this out of here. That is some beautiful beef broth there. Right, leave some in there. Can you see that? No, you can't. Look at that stuff. That's going to make something good. All right. Okay. Sorry, my back's a little sore. Let's get back to tearing this stuff apart. Now, I would taste this, but it's so hot. But I can tell you right now, I don't need to taste it till it tastes good because I can smell it. And it smells divine. So I don't know that it has to be shredded too crazily because that's the only ingredients are cheese, enchilada sauce, beef, and the tortillas. So, and it's so tender that I don't think a bigger chunk is really going to cause anybody any issues. Did you want to taste the beef before I? Okay. So Kathy is some kind of weirdo that can take super hot things and eat them anyway.
Oh. Sorry.
Uh-huh.
Oh, it's not super hot. It's, oh my God. That's super good though.
All right, now I gotta try it. It's not super hot. Oh God.
You believe me now?
Mm. Wow. I almost did that guy on the internet. You mean for 40 years I didn't know this?
Yeah.
He laughs with the exhale. That's so good.
That's perfect.
Wow.
That is like perfect.
All right. Now we're gonna make some something more hot. The juice, yes, the juice is, yeah. That's on its trash. My daughter wants some of these. I'm not sure I want to give her any now. Maybe we can give her the lentil soup that we didn't like. And we can keep this. Is that being a bad father?
Or bad, you know, it's really good.
Yeah, all right. Build tortillas with beef and 2 cups of the shredded cheese. Reserve 1 cup for later. Yeah. We'll see if any gets reserved. I'm not really good at reserving cheese. Guess what I'm going to do to avoid making a huge mess is I'm going to make my tortillas on a plate. We're going to see, actually, let's see around, let's get smart here. I'm going to see if I can do something I don't usually do, and that is not overfill my burritos, enchiladas, tacos, all of those things I tend to overfill. I don't really know much about making these in a way that works, so we're just going to throw some shit in and see what happens. Okay. This is why I was hoping some of our normal crowd would be on the show, because actually they would have schooled me on how to properly hold these, and it might have worked better, but whatever. Throw some cheese on there, and let's see if we can.
You need some help?
Try fold the end first, and then
Yep.
fold over.
Yep. And then just roll. Pretend it's a burrito.
Like I said, I don't know how to do that.
There you go.
And put it in upside down so it stays together.
There you go. Yep, you got it.
All right, say hi to mom.
Well,
Her mom, not mine, unless, one of them's watching and gets confused. All right, I'll let you watch the non-scientific burrito creation process here. All right, so we're gonna make these bad boys. That seemed to be about the right amount. Boy, it's gonna take everything I have not to have a bite of that every time I make a enchilada. Because that meat is so good. All right. Fold the end, put it over, roll. Place. Okay, that's not so hard. Problem with me is usually I put so much in that you can't close it. And it of course spills all over, which is not, the worst thing that could happen. Yeah. I made a couple roasts in the Instapot and I really liked them. But none of those compared to the taste that are in this. I mean, the seasonings are just to die for. Wow, those are so good. Well, all that fat I was worried about doesn't seem to be an issue. Melted, went into the ether, the fat on that would go away as easily. No, Teddy, you don't get any of this. Ah. Teddy's a dog, in case you haven't figured that out yet. See how that just it just shreds apart like nothing. I mean, I'm putting hardly any pressure on it. The Instapot does such a good job of making this kind of thing tender. Chicken, beef, I'm sure it does. I don't eat pork, but I'm sure it would do the same exact thing for pork. Turkey, I've already raved about the turkey, so I won't do that again right now, at least. Maybe later. Make no promises about later. Huh. We are going to have extra beef left over. I'm going to give you an idea. In case you wonder what's going to happen to it, I'm going to give you an idea what's going to happen to this beef. This beef is going to end up in some breakfast food. I'm going to make me some eggs that have some of the most delicious beef in them that you've ever had. And I'm going to use some of that broth as well. Yeah, we're going to have ourselves a very, very nice savory breakfast, right? Savory breakfast, protein, fat, fiber, little bit of optional, starches. But man, make an egg scramble with this meat. Yeah. It's be the most popular breakfast I ever made, I think. All right, so we put that one in there, see if it works. Okay. All right, I got two more left. I wonder. Let's crunch these a little more. I probably have some more tortillas of some kind. I may be able to get a few more. I think she got me enough fajita wraps. But it's okay because the more beef that's left, the more I'm going to enjoy that breakfast for a few more days. And that's not going to hurt my feelings in the slightest. So I can see where this part takes a little more when you don't really have the muscle memory to make them swiftly. I'm sure there's some people that do this quite fast. That would be excluding yours truly. Yeah, I can get a couple more in this pan. Darn it. Do I really want to, though? Yeah, because Hannah's going to want some. She's going to want some. I'm going to want some. Rachel's going to want some. Everybody's going to want some of these. Okay, we're going to have to put a close sign on the kitchen. All right, yeah. From now on, we make more than one batch of this when we make it. That's the new rule. Yeah, this takes a little bit longer than a lot of our other stuff. But hey, we're experimenting, we're learning, we're figuring out what works the best. I think I get two more in there. Well, actually, all I have is teeny tiny taco shells. Teeny tiny. So I'll make a couple of those and I'll eat those while nobody is here. Now, for those of you who are watching your weight and are afraid of the tortilla shell, there are a lot of options out there right now. Gluten-free, higher protein, lower carb. There's a lot of options for different kinds of wraps that you can do. So you don't have to be terrified of Mexican food anymore. So just take a look, see what you can find that works for you. A little less beef there, Rick. More for later. Oop, don't waste it. right? So you can find those that are gonna have less of an impact and still give you the taste. Or I guess you could do it naked and just throw cheese over your beef, but I think you'd be missing out on the whole package there. Oh, he's so cute. Look at him, little tiny guy. He'll fit right there, and maybe he won't fall apart. And then, yeah, we'll just do one more. Then the rest of this is mine. My breakfast meal. I don't think that's going to fit. Nope. There isn't. Mm. The only thing I might do here, kids, next time is I might not put in quite as much salt. It's not bad, but it's just got a little. So between the salt and the broth, right? I don't tend to use a lot of low sodium products because typically to make them edible, they add a lot of shit to them. It makes them even less healthy than the salt would be. Plus, we talked a little bit, unless your doctor's got you on a low sodium thing. I don't think that's one of our main issues. But let's see where we're at. But it's just it's good. It's a little less salt probably wouldn't have been bad, but it's so good. All right, what do we do here? Side by side prepared pan. Pour the remaining enchilada sauce, top with the remaining cheese. Tent with foil, bake for 15 minutes. Remove the foil, bake for 5 minutes. Add your favorite toppings and serve. Well, I did not. I'm thinking that these tortilla shells could have been a bit bigger. I did not use nearly as much. I didn't use all 3 cups of cheese. I was concerned about not overfilling them. So we will have cheese on top for sure. Which will not hurt my feelings. If you've watched this show before, you know I like cheese. I don't put cheese on my ice cream. I don't put cheese in my beer. Aside from that, it goes to just about everything. Kind of like mushrooms. And it's this back corner over here. It feels unloved. Take that down. Little enchilada. Hey, what do you think? I think it would be a shame not to use the last hand. That's what I think. So let's just. Anywhere we have an exposed piece of tortilla. Right there. Oh, that edge. There we go. All right, so we're going to tempt that with the foil. Easy for you to say. All right. This looks awfully narrow. No, I hope they don't want a big top because this isn't all that wide. Yeah, we have a little bit of tenting going on. Not much. Right, we're going to shove that bad boy in there, set the timer, and get back to making some more salsa. This is where I swear. Shit. Remember I set the oven? I must not have hit it right. It's not on. So it's not preheated. Son of a... All right. So what we do there, kids, you've seen everything, right? So you don't need to see the rest of the salsa going on. What you want to see is the end result. So we're going to pause the video. We're going to turn off the keeping camera here. And then we will, sorry, that was horrible. And then we will come back and show you the final result. Yeah, I hope you've been fast forwarding or using this on extra time because this has been a long time. All right. See you guys in a bit.
Well, we did it again, kids. You know how I talk about, you heard me say it like 3 or 4 times as I was reading and rereading. I have a tendency to miss things. Well, the thing I missed here was we put all that cheese on. The remainder of the enchilada sauce was supposed to go in first, then the cheese on top. Then you get that nice golden bubbly cheese topping. Well, you don't get that here, but you still have all the ingredients. They're still going to taste great. But I thought I'd show you what all we got out of this. And no, I'm not going to break into it right now and eat it because, well, we already know it's delicious. And it's still super hot. It just came out of the oven, but I wanted to get this done. So there are 10 enchiladas there. 2 of them are the little tiny ones, right? 10 enchiladas there. This is a completely full thing of sauce. These are all my 35-ounce meal prep containers. This is full of meat that's left in the au jus. We're going to use that for different things. I'm leaving it in the juice because that just means that meat is going to stay nice and super tender, and it's going to be so good in eggs or whatever else we make it in, right? The salsa, obviously, for a lot of stuff. And then this is all the Mexican rice we got. I mean, these are full containers here. So I may even throw some of this into, that was getting a little hot, but it's cooled off, into my egg scrambles, right? That could be the starch I put in. Instead of putting potatoes, there's some rice in there, and then you've got all the veggies that are in it as well. So that's something else I can do with that. Plus, we can you know, set it aside. We'll have it with this, obviously, and you can have it just with chips or just by itself. Really, it's really, really good. So there's a lot of food here. It's going to last for a little while. Not as long now that I have as many people sticking their fingers into my meal prep pie, but that's a good thing because then we're making things better one meal at a time, right? And maybe some of them will start thinking about doing some meal prep as well. So if you want to join us, remember, I don't know if you can remember because I think I gave you 30 seconds and then I don't think I gave you the URL. Well, if you've been sitting around with your pen until right now, I'll give it to you now. It's school, SKOOL.com/meal prep. Come join us. Come be on here. You can try and help me keep on track while we cook this as a community effort. You can join us in our co-prepping sessions and in all the other surprise things we have coming down the road in the next few weeks and months that are going to make this community even better. So hope you'll have a great week. Eat some good food, save some money, and we'll see you next week.